I'm gonna bring you guys a video on making one of the most delicious brine turkeys. Now I know you're probably thinking, why are we just not getting this video? Thanksgiving is over. I have had this as a recipe I've been wanting to make for you guys, and I had it planned to make before Thanksgiving so that you would have plenty of time to collect your ingredients and make it yourself. And I went to the store to get my turkey and there was no turkeys, and so I kept calling every 3 days and saying, do you guys have turkeys in yet? And I couldn't find any turkeys. And I don't know if that's like a seasonal thing. I mean, I know we don't have turkeys year round, but I know the supplies, it's getting harder to find stuff. And well, hello, my little cat. Anyway, it is getting increasingly harder to get things, and so I didn't know if this was a supply thing or if it was just that they weren't in season. But you know, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I assumed that they would be in the stores, but they weren't. So I couldn't make this recipe. And so I was thinking, well, I guess I won't make it till next year. But then I thought to go online and ask, what are the most common meats or meals that people make for Christmas? And actually turkey ranked up there pretty high with ham and beef Wellington and things like that. And so I thought, well, we'll put it on. We're gonna be a little bit late, but you'll be really early with this video for Christmas if you wanna make this for Christmas, for your Christmas dinner. And so one of the things I really love about this recipe is when you're cooking a big meal, like your Thanksgiving meal or your Christmas meal, you run out of room in your oven. And you've got those last minute things like your rolls or like the stuffing that I showed you guys last week. And this big, huge turkey in a roasting pan takes up the whole oven. You don't have any racks left, unless you have a double oven, which not many of us are blessed with that. And so that's why I love this recipe. This recipe, I cook it on the grill, on the barbecue. Well, I guess I'm from California. We always called it barbecue, but I guess here in the South, I'm supposed to call it a grill. So anyway, it doesn't take up your oven. And that is the reason I love this recipe. Well, I mean, the main reason I love this recipe is because it's so delicious. So this is a brine turkey, and I can get done with this way in advance. It's, 1 to 3 days. Usually I keep it in for about 2 days. I make the brine, Thanksgiving's on Thursday, and I make the brine and get my turkey in on Tuesday or even Monday night. And it just sits in the refrigerator. And then Thursday morning, I put it on the grill, and it is ready when everything else is coming out of the oven, and it didn't hog up my oven. So that is one of the huge reasons why I love this recipe. Now, because Thanksgiving's over, and I'm just now making this, now I'm gonna have this huge turkey for Hans and I. And what am I gonna do with this much turkey? And one reason that I wasn't too concerned about making this after Thanksgiving was because actually I cook a turkey several times throughout the year, and when it comes out, I slice it in probably like a 1/4 inch slices, and I freeze them, and I use that as my lunch meat. And it is the most delicious turkey sandwich to have homemade bread with turkey slices and cranberries, and you can do so many things with that turkey. And then I'll take the dark meat and I'll shred it and I'll bag that up, and then I'll take the carcass and I'll make a big turkey soup, which that's going to be next week, so you don't want to miss next week's lesson on how to make a delicious turkey soup with that turkey carcass. So save your turkey carcass and for next week, and we'll make soup together. But anyway, I will use this turkey. I'll use it for a couple months. We'll use it as our lunch meat. I'll use it in casseroles, and then I'll use the carcass for stew. So we're gonna get started on this and show you guys the perfect turkey recipe for your Christmas meal. All right, so we're gonna get started. I waited too late in the day, and the sun is coming down and it's shining right in my eyes. So hopefully it doesn't mess this video up too much. But anyway, we're gonna start preparing the brine. Now I'm out here right in this room here, this door. This is my pantry, my outdoor pantry, since we're living in a travel trailer. And maybe I'll give you guys a peek. Open up the door. And I don't know if you can see in there. So when I can, I store it all in here. There's rows behind, and I've got all my eggs. Let's see, water glass eggs there. So this is my pantry out here. But we have our cook stove here for when I'm canning. And I thought this would be a perfect spot to make this recipe. So anyway, we're going to get started. So we are going to add the first 7 ingredients into this pot. Now I'm not going to give amounts because you can just go over to my blog and you can get the whole recipe there, and there'll be pictures, process pictures as well, and there'll be a printable recipe. So just head on over to my blog and get the recipe. But anyway, the first ingredient we're going to add is this is unsweetened apple juice. And we're just going to pour that into the pot. And then we are going to add brown sugar. This got dried out while it was sitting there. There we go. My cat wants to get up here. Here's a bowl. And then we've got kosher salt. We've got, in this bowl, I've got bay leaves. I've got quite a few cloves of garlic. I do have slices of ginger. And then I've got quite a few whole cloves. So we're going to add all of that to this pot. And let's see, I think that's the first 7 ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it is. So now I'm going to turn my oven on, my stovetop. I got to turn on my propane. Ooh. And we're going to bring this to a boil. And the goal is to dissolve the salt and the sugar. We're just going to wait for this to come up to a boil. Okay, this has come up to a boil, and I've stirred it and gotten my sugar and my salt dissolved. And now the next step is I have oranges that I've quartered. A couple of these oranges were really, really big, and so I more than quartered them. But just about that size. We're going to add all these oranges to our brine while it's hot. We're going to add our purified water. I always use, I don't use tap water for anything, so this is purified water. I'm going to add it to this brine, and it is going to cool it down. And that's all there is to making the brine. It's super, super easy, super, super quick, and it's going to make that turkey absolutely delicious. All right, so now that the brine is finished, we're going to get the turkey ready. Now I'm using my canning pot just because I don't have, this will fit in my refrigerator, and I don't have a roasting pan. You can use a roasting pan that you're going to lay the turkey in the brine, if that's what you have, or you can use a pot like this. My turkey is sitting in here right now, but I'm going to use this big pot. So what we're going to do is, these are oven roasting bags, and they're ones they're turkey size. There's many different ones. There's ones that fit like 8-pound pieces of meat, or make sure you get the ones that they say turkey size on them. And there is 2 bags in here, and we are going to use both of the bags. So start with just one bag, and I like to put it inside my pot to start with. I have a hard time like putting the turkey in and pouring the brine and then getting it into the pot. It just makes more sense to just stick it in the pot. That's why I like to use a pot instead of a roasting pan. I mean, I can't get it all the way around, but it'll, holds it up very nice. And so now I've got my turkey. You're going to want to, you rinse it and take the giblets out and get it, prepared for here. I've already done that. So I'm just gonna lift them up and get them. There, finally got my turkey. Get them into this bag. All right, now that my turkey is in a double bag, I'm ready to add my brine. So it's the turkey is just about covered in the brine. Once I pull this up and I zip tie it shut, it's pretty much almost to the top of the turkey, and I guess depending on the size of the turkey that you have. So we're going to zip tie this closed. We're going to push all the air out of it and make it real tight, and then we're going to zip tie it. Now, if you have it in a roasting pan, you can flip it so that, it all, like it evenly marinades for the 2 days, but just be really careful that you don't pick up the whole thing because the bag will break. When I put my turkey in here, I like to position it to where the breast is down so that it's the most of the breast meat is in the marinade. Because the marinade doesn't completely cover the turkey, and you can shift it and turn it, but for the most part I like to make sure that the breast of the turkey is down in that marinade, fully covered. So now that the box of these roasting bags, they come with these little zip ties. So like I was saying, just squeeze all the air out of the bag and then just put a zip tie around it and pull it tight. Now you're going to keep this in the refrigerator for 1 to 3 days. Like I was saying earlier, I generally like to start this on like Monday night, Tuesday morning, so it has a good 48 hours to marinate. And then we will put it on the grill. So we're done for today, and I'll see you guys in 2 days. So I'm back now. It's been 2 days and the turkey's been brining for the whole time. And so now we are going to continue with this process. We're going to get it prepared and we're going to get it onto the grill, and it's going to cook for several hours today. So one thing I want to point out is, I don't know if you have bought a turkey before where you've seen this little, it's a little pick and it has a red button on it. What this does is, it's supposed to, when the turkey, it's inserted in the breast, and when the turkey reaches the one, this cat, listen Betty, you can't be part of my videos. You move off. He wants to be part of everything. Anyway, continuing on. So when the turkey reaches an internal temperature of 165, this is designed to, the red part will pop up. And so it notifies you that your turkey is done, and you don't have to use a meat thermometer to test to see if it's reached the right temperature. I always still use a meat thermometer. I don't know, I just don't know if I trust these, but I guess I should, because it's always been right every time. So if you're wondering what these are, it'll be pressed down when you put it in the oven or the grill, and then when it's ready to go, the red part will pop up. So I have a disposable roasting pan, and because it's going to go on the grill, and then I have a rack that fits inside to kind of elevate the turkey up out of the drippings. And so I took this turkey out of the brine already, and I rinsed it off with water just to get a lot of the salt and just residue that's on it. So I just want to wipe it down just a little bit, and then we're going to rub oil all over this guy. So I don't ever trim off any of the fat, like this fat here where it was this neck, because it'll just cook down and it'll give you wonderful fat for your gravy. So I just, especially if I have an organic turkey and it's you know, been raised correctly, I'm not worried about the fat. Actually, that fat is a really important part of our diet, so I don't trim any of the fat off. So we're just going to rub this guy with some oil and get him ready. Now you're going to want to place him in the roasting pan, but you want him to be breast side down. That way, as he cooks, all of the juices, they're all going down into the breast, and it will help the breast meat be a lot more moist. You want just all of the fat and the, you know, the liquids inside, you want it to just soak down into that breast. So just place them in there. And I have my grill preheating. I'm bringing it to about 300 degrees. And then we're just gonna place this guy on the grill. It's gonna be indirect heat, so only one side of your grill will be lit and the other side, you know, don't have that lit. So you're just creating an oven in there. And so we're gonna put him in there for an hour, and then once the hour's done, we're gonna tint it with foil. So the first step is to just get your grill up to about 300 degrees, and then turn off one side and just have the other side going, and just stick him on the side that's turned off and set your timer for an hour, and then we'll be right back. So now I've been letting my grill preheat. It's up to the 300 mark, and I was cleaning it off, and I did think I want to mention this to you guys. This is a wood paddle that we clean our grill off in between each use. And I never really thought about the fact that when we used to have the ones that are metal, they're like metal brushes, they have little bristles, and most people have those kind. Then these started becoming really popular, and I want to put a little warning out there. The metal ones, there has been instances where when you clean off your grill, and some of the little metal bristles will come off and will be on your grill and you don't know it. And then you lay your meat on that, and they're like little splinters, and they'll get on your meat, and then you eat it. And there have been cases where it has gotten caught in people's throat and you can hardly see them, and it's really difficult, and sometimes it's impossible for the doctor to be able to find that tiny little sliver. And it's almost like a sliver of glass that you can't really see, and people have had to, like, it is an irritation in their throat and they can never find it. So when I heard that, I mean, the instances are super, super rare, but I don't even want to take a chance of being one of those very rare instances and then deal with having a splinter in my throat for the rest of my life. So we got a wood paddle, and it works just as well. I mean, this thing's getting kind of beat. We probably need to get a new one. But I just wanted to kind of put that warning out there that if you have a metal brush, I would change it out and get a wood one. So anyway, this was brought up to 300. Now that I've had it open, it's probably losing heat, but it'll build back up. And so I am going to turn off the heat on this side and this side, and I'm just going to leave this side on. And later on, if I feel like this is taking too long, I may turn the middle one back on, but for now we're just gonna leave one side on. And then when you close the lid, it's not like you're grilling meat where you want the meat over that direct flame like a steak. This is more just creating an oven, a 300 degree oven. And so I think that just one side is gonna be able to keep it at the 300. But if this starts dropping, then I'll probably turn the middle burner back on. and till it, you know, gets back up to that 300 mark. So you want to keep it just like your oven. When you're baking a turkey, you don't keep changing the temperature in your oven. You know, it stays at 300 for the whole amount of time. And so you want to keep an eye on the temperature right here, and just make sure that it stays at that 300. And if you feel like it's dropping, well, then just turn on your middle flame. So let's see, which one did I turn off? Okay, that one's going. So I'm just going to place him. Let's see. There, barely fits. So make sure that your roasting pan fits in your grill. So this is all there is to it. You're just going to close this, and you're going to, now I've dropped down to like 200. So as soon as this reaches 300, then I'm going to start my time, and in an hour we'll be back to continue baking him for the rest of the time. So we'll be right back. The turkey's been in here for an hour. I've kept it at 300 degrees, and so now I think we're probably gonna tent it with foil. Oh, wow, it's already getting browned. I wish you guys could smell it. It's like the whole neighborhood is smelling like turkey. It smells delicious. Here, I'll zoom in on it for you guys. See, it's already starting to brown, and it's just really amazing to be able to have like an outdoor oven. So we're just gonna tent this with foil. As you could see, I wasn't just covering it with foil. I started doing that, forgetting that I needed to tent it. So I started over. You're not wanting to cover it tightly. You're wanting to tent it so that there's like a lot of air circulation still in there. So just keep it loose and more like a tent than just a tight cover. So anyway, that's ready to go, and we're gonna close the lid and continue cooking it at that indirect heat, or it probably will take another 3 hours. I generally, just barely. Look, turkey is done at 165, but I don't know, it seems like every time I bring it in at 165, there's parts of the turkey that aren't totally cooked through. And so I generally leave it on the grill until it reaches about 180, even 185. That way I'm just guaranteed that it's gonna be cooked all the way through. And it's lost the temperature because I had this open. So I'm actually going to light the burners that I've turned off to make sure that it can get back up to temperature. So it's just kind of working with it, keeping it at the, there we go. Now I'll let this, all 3 burners are going now. So I'll keep an eye on my temperature gauge, and as soon as it reaches 300, I'll come and turn these 2 off and cook it at that indirect heat. And I may even need to keep this one on, just like I was saying before. You just really have to play with, even if it's an old grill, sometimes, it has a harder time keeping that heat in. So you may, when we had a brand new grill, I could do the whole thing with just this one on. And now that this thing is getting older, I'm noticing I'm having to, you know, play with this middle one and turn it off and turn it on to kind of keep it at that 300. I mean, it's not a lot of work. It's just, you know, playing with the temperature gauge. So anyway, this is coming back at the temperature, and we'll be back in probably 2 to 3 hours. So the turkey's been in for 3 hours, and now I have my meat thermometer. I will check the little button gauge on the turkey, but I like to just, with a backup, do it with my meat thermometer. Wow, look at that. I'm gonna zoom in on this for you guys. This looks amazing. Look at that. And while I was waiting, I came out and I sliced a fresh orange and I threw it on the grill. And this would just add so much beauty to your, when you arrange your turkey on the platter. I've got a bunch of fresh herbs. I mean, it's just for Hans and I right now, but if I was serving this for company or having this for Thanksgiving, I would put all the fresh herbs from my herbal garden and then arrange these. You could put some cranberries. All I did is just slice this, and I just turn them upside down on the grill and just let them cook this way. And they taste super good as well, but they just make kind of the whole presentation pop. So the turkey would need to be 180. I had said it was 165 was safe, but I do it to 180. And yep, let's see, turn this on. Yep, we're right at about 182, so we're good. Now you're gonna wanna, before carving this, you wanna let the meat set for about 15 minutes. And so the juices, like, because if you cut it right away, you're gonna lose a lot of the juiciness. It'll just go out on your cutting board. So if you just let it set for about 15 minutes, the juices, they redistribute within the turkey and you won't lose them all. And it's ready to go. So one thing is, you don't want to save the brine and use that for anything else. You're just going to want to throw that away because that was the raw meat sitting in there. So there you have it. That is your Thanksgiving turkey, and you were able to free your oven up for things like sweet potato casserole or the stuffing, which you might want to go and look at another post that I have for stuffing, the best Thanksgiving stuffing. But you can, you know, this is just like an outdoor oven outside. So a lot of people are wishing that they could have a double oven, and I don't know if people really realize that they do. They have, this can be used as an oven. You don't just have to grill things right on the grate. So if you enjoyed this and you would like to get more recipes from me weekly, I post here once a week, then go ahead and subscribe and hit the little bell so that you're notified every single time that I post. And if you enjoy this and you're going to give it a try, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And next week we will be turning the carcass into turkey soup. So if you make this and you, or any of your Thanksgiving, like if you don't make this but you know, buy a turkey, then save the carcass and join me next week as we use just a big pile of bones to turn into another beautiful meal. So that's it for this week. We'll see you. Bye-bye.